Backcountry skiing in Washington offers some of the most stunning terrain in the country, but it takes skill, knowledge, and the right mindset to explore it safely. Today, we're talking with Jim Overton, an avid backcountry skier and dedicated volunteer with the Mountaineers Club and Mount Tahoma Trail Huts. We'll dive into what makes Washington such a backcountry paradise, hear about his most memorable ski adventures, and get his best advice for those looking to transition from resort to touring. Stick around, drop your questions in the chat, and let's get started. Hey, how's it going, Jim?
Yeah, it's great, thanks. Just had a good day on the mountain, just regular resort skiing, but it was good.
Oh, really? What resort?
Just the Quality, it's just close by. I can zip up there and get some runs in and come back home and chill.
Yeah, I ski instructed there and worked with Outdoors for All there. I also did one of my first reviews for Snoqualmie. I'll send it over to you. It'll probably give you a good laugh.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just so everybody knows, I know Jim from kayaking, and he's an awesome kayaker, and he's the kind of person that has so much energy. I'll kayak, be done for the day, think he's done for the day. Then he mountain bikes all the way up some hill. And then he'll stays up later, gets up in the morning, and then does it all again harder than I did at the first day with twice as much energy. So Jim's that guy. So I'm happy to have you on here talking about this. So
All
thanks.
right. My pleasure. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's jump right into the questions here and get you talking. What first got you into backcountry skiing, and what keeps you coming back for more?
Well, of course, the thing about backcountry skiing is there's no lines, and you get first turns most times. Uh, the conditions can be kind of crummy sometimes, but you got to make the most of it. And most of my backcountry skiing, I'm not a hardcore charging down steep slopes. Most of my touring is low avalanche terrain, kind of rolling hills, and I just love getting away from the crowds and just being out there in the wilderness. Yeah, I love it. I've got a few favorite spots I go to.
All right, I think we're going to get into some of those favorite spots later, and I think that will lead well into the next question. So you just try to keep it on I guess it would be a lower slope. Is there a certain percentage to stay below to prevent avalanche danger?
Yeah, well, normally if you're below 28, 30 degrees, you're pretty damn safe. I mean, I just done a big trip where my brother-in-law came out from the UK, and he's not a very strong skier, but we did lots of touring, and it was all pretty controlled conditions for him. We played around with beacons and stuff, so we knew what to do. But did we really need them? Not really. It was just getting out there and cruising around.
Yeah, I'm impressed with your trips. I see your posts, and you've been nice enough to invite me a couple times. I've never been able to make it work, but one of these days, I hope to.
Yeah.
I'm excited to ask this next question because I think it's pretty interesting what you do on the volunteer level. Can you tell us how you're involved with the Mountaineers Club and Mount Tahoma Trail Huts?
Yeah,
and a little bit about each organization.
Yeah. So I'll start with the Mountaineers. They used to have four ski cabins. One burnt down back in 2007, unfortunately. But they've got three cabins, lodges you can go to close to resorts. And the one I go to the most is Meany Lodge, which is I went there taking my daughters there when they were little because it was so kid friendly. They got it's its own little resort, and it's got three tow ropes and actually some pretty good runs once you get to the top of the hill, if you're willing to get to the top, and very inexpensive. Skiing is an expensive sport in general. If you just go to the Whistler, whatever the big resorts, but the top Mountaineers Lodge it's run by volunteers, and you're one of the volunteers making it work. And you jump in, everybody jumps in, and things break, and everybody just jumps in and helps, and you all do the dishes, and very big. It's a community effort, and I'd go there when I first started going there. It was like $60 for the weekend for me and $30 for my daughters, and that included 6 meals, 2 days of skiing on the tow rope, and your accommodation. It's obviously a little bit more now, but it's still very affordable community skiing. And now when I go there, I actually do more cross country when I go there because it's close to cross country trails, and I help with. I'm assistant cook now, and so I go there and help with the cooking, and I get to stay there for free. So I say skiing can be an expensive sport, but there's ways to angle it and make it very inexpensive and affordable.
Yeah, I think that's well said. And I'll say, I don't know if you know this, but I was part of the Mountaineers Club, which I mentioned, and I used to use it so I could work with Outdoors for All at Stevens. And it was
Yeah,
also a lot of fun, a great way to get to know people. You'd put your name on the board at night. I like to cook, so I try to get up in the morning and cook. But there's different volunteer opportunities, and it kind of runs like a hostel, but you need to pay a very affordable membership to be part of it. I told a lot of people, I'm actually surprised it's not more popular, but I love
yeah.
going to those places. And that's
Well,
that's what you're doing, right? That you're the
yeah.
full-time volunteer.
I think people are put off by the dorm sleeping, maybe, but there's no reason for that. I mean, take some earplugs and yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Do you mind if if this helps? I've got the web pages pulled up. Do you mind if I pull up the web pages? Are you very familiar with them? We can look at some of the different huts and whatnot with the
Yeah,
Mountaineer
yeah,
Club.
yeah.
Okay, let me share a screen here.
I must say, so most of the Mountaineers lodges are only open on weekends because it's run by volunteers. But it's a great way to not have to deal with all the hassle of being at the resort and driving up every day. You stay there for 2 or 3 days, and you've got home base.
I also stayed at the one at Baker when I was getting Abbey certified there, and it was the same great scenario. That was one of the nicest one I've seen. Is the one at Baker too? That's
Yeah,
still part of it.
great views there. You see Mount Shuxton there, and it's just incredible. They've got this great big bay window, and it's right there in front of you. Yeah.
I have the Mountaineers Club pulled up here just so people can see. Right. It's got find activities, volunteer activity overview, lodge reservations. So this probably shows all the different lodges, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Everett, Foothills, Kitsap, Olympia, Seattle, Tacoma.
yeah. Well, the main ski
Baker.
lodges are only Stevens, Baker, and Meany, but some of the other lodges are used for other purposes.
Let's look at Baker since we were just talking about that.
Yeah,
But there's a picture of Baker. I mean, if you have kids, just do it. I mean, if not, I love it as an adult, but it's a lot of fun.
yeah. It's a great way to do a family ski trip and make it affordable, for sure. I did it for years.
Well, and isn't the history it started after the World War II vets came back and were infatuated with skiing and they started building these things and running them, and
Yeah,
then
it's
eventually the
amazing.
Mountaineers bought
They
them?
they built these lodges in the summer just by volunteers. It's incredible that they were able to do that. The volunteerism back then was immense.
Yeah, it's really impressive. And this is where I used to stay, the Stevens Lodge.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just, yeah, I mean, with the traffic up there now, it's almost the best way to go. Go up there for Friday night, stay the night,
yeah.
volunteer, cook some food, and hang out, meet some
And
people.
the Stevens one, you can once you get up there, you can ski it out in the morning to down to the chairlifts, and then you can ski back to the cabin at night from the slopes. It's really nice.
All right, I'm going to click on this Tahoma webpage here. I'm going to also run a ticker down here so everybody can see what these web pages are. These are the organization Jim volunteers with, Mountaineers and Ski MTTA. But the
Yeah,
Tahoma Trails, right? And
yeah,
specifically, you're involved with the huts, right?
yeah. So they have Toma Huts was formed back in the 1990s, and they have 3 huts and 1 yurt close to Mount Rainier. They're all about 3.5 to 4,500 feet. Actually, high hut is 4,900 feet, and again, it's an inexpensive way to get out and do some backcountry skiing. Uh, it used to be $15 a night to stay there. Now it's $25 a night. The only thing is that they are very popular at weekends, and so there's a lottery system to get a place there. But midweek, you can normally score a midweek spot, and they're letting two or three groups stay there now. So it used to be just one group would book it, and then nobody else could book it. But now they're letting uh, a couple of different groups book it, and it's all good. You get communal and get to meet other people, and the skiing is more cross country, but there is some backcountry to be had there. I took my daughters there. I think the first time I took my daughters there, my eldest daughter was 6, and she skied all the way in and all the way out. And I had my 3-year-old in a backpack, and yeah, it was 3 mile skiing, not too arduous, and they're very comfortable, warm. They've all got propane heat now. You just go in and flick a switch. They've all got LED lights from solar panels. Back in the day, it was wood stoves. Would take half the night to get warm, and you'd be walking around trying to light propane lights that would explode in your face. So it's a lot more user friendly now.
I bet your daughters have fond stories of going up there. I think it's amazing you figured this stuff out, right? I mean,
Yeah,
what a fun way to experience nature. And like you said, the cost compared to being,
yeah,
even now it's got so crazy, but it's just fun, good exercise, good
yeah.
experience.
Yeah, and I do ski patrol, and I just get to ski the trails and be an ambassador more than anything. And I get to ride the snowmobiles and do some grooming sometimes, so that's been kind of uh, interesting to learn how to do that. And just just getting out there doing the ski patrol, meeting people.
All right. Yeah. Thanks again. That's will lead well into the next question I have set up for you.
Alrighty.
Yeah. How have the Mountaineers Club and Mount Tahoma trail huts influenced your backcountry skiing adventures?
Well, it just made it easy to have a home base and get out there, and also meet other people, like-minded people who do the same thing. So that's always been great, meeting new people.
All right. Terrific. Can you let's see. Can you share a memorable or intense backcountry experience that stands out from your time skiing in Washington?
Yeah, one of my most memorable moments was I was skiing up the North Fork Teanaway by Cleellum, and I was staying at the Teanaway Guard Station, and we were skiing up the Beverly Creek Basin, which is true backcountry skiing. Beautiful. Nobody's up there, and we saw these. We'd been up there the day before, and we saw these massive footprints in the snow. We're like, wow, what's this? A cougar or something? And I was up front, and I looked ahead at one point, and there was this big. I thought it was an overgrown badger or something, and I got back home and I looked it up. What the heck was that? Must have been a big male wolverine. Um, that was really interesting to see in that.
That's a very elusive animal, isn't it? If you even see anything near a wolverine, do you report it or?
I did report it down the road after I got back, but yeah, they were exterminated in Washington State, and they've started to come back into Washington State from Canada. They actually need a snow den to have their pups and everything, so they need a solid snow base to even survive. They've actually started to come back to Mount Rainier. They've had some sightings on Mount Rainier 2 or 3 years ago, so it's very cool.
Yeah, those are interesting animals. When I was in Sun Valley, I went to a kind of a benefit. I'm not going to call it there, but a pop up, and it was all about the wolverines and how they're tracking them in that area. That's
Yeah,
why I know a little bit about it. But they're pretty fascinating animals.
yeah. Supposedly, a wolverine can take down a bear, but they've never been a case of them attacking humans, fortunately.
Yeah, I would like to see the first, not the latter, but that would be an interesting fight to watch. I bet it's out there somewhere on the internet.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's move into the next one here. What advice would you give to skiers who want to transition from resort skiing to backcountry touring?
Well, I would say there's quite a few people out there who, you know, for the cost of all the ski equipment, they buy backcountry gear to ski in bounds as well as for backcountry, but they don't do much backcountry. They ski their backcountry skis mostly for inbound skiing, right, or a little slack country off the side. So you don't really get a feel for the comfort of your boots when you're downhill skiing. And I've done more trips where people have got blisters on their feet from the boots they've had for quite a while. But once you start going uphill and you're carrying a load, you're going to get blisters if you don't have really good fitting boots. So I would really advise people before they do any tour of any size to really make sure they've got comfortable boots and that they're not going to get blisters because it just ruins a trip. I've been on first day on a trip of 5 or 6 days and people have got blisters. I've never had bad blisters, but
Well, I'm in the same boat as you. I luckily have pretty strong feet, and they don't seem to blister up. But I've seen that. I that's my personal recommendation to people that are even skiing inbounds. Like if you
well,
don't
yeah,
have good boots, but if you're backcountry day 2 and you get blisters, that's a
yeah.
long walk back. A 10, 15-mile walk with
It's not much fun. Not much
blisters.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we're going to get to the next part here where I think it's kind of fun. And we'll see who's watching, or it might not be the stoke for skiing we have when it's December, but let's see what we've got in the comments for questions. All right, here's one. Can you tell us about your background? How did you come to the U.S. and how did you get into skiing?
Oh well. I came to the US when I was 23 to work at a summer camp for handicapped kids after I graduated from college in the UK in Nottingham. I did a degree in biology, and then I came out here, worked at the camp, and realized I didn't want to work in biology. I wanted to work with people and in more of a nursing perspective. So I went to nursing school over here and worked as a nurse. That nursing profession gave me a lot of free time because I worked long shifts and had a bunch of days off in a row, so it allowed me to take my trips.
Yeah, are you fully retired now? When we were
Yeah,
kayaking, you're still doing a little nursing. You're fully retired now.
I'm fully retired. Yeah, yeah.
Wow,
So I
congratulations.
got my knee fixed a couple of years ago. New knees, and I'm back to full on skiing again and snowboarding. So it hasn't slowed me down too much.
Well, I might send you a video. There's a guy, his name's Bram, and he's from the UK too. And he got the same bug as you did. And
Yeah.
he's trying to work in the ski industries up at Revelstoke. But I did one of these with him.
All
I'll
right.
send you a link of that. Maybe it'll be interesting.
Well,
You're not from England though. You're from
yeah, I'm from the UK. Yeah, England.
okay. Okay.
And
Yeah.
I didn't really start skiing until I was 30, so I always joke with people that I'm making up for lost time by trying to pack it in nowadays.
Yeah. And yeah, it's a lot of fun doing things with you, especially the kayaking. I mean, you're patient with me, but he's impressive. So I want to get out and backcountry ski. Hopefully, I can keep up better than I do with my kayaking.
Uh,
Yeah, let's see if we have any other questions here. Now's the chance, everybody, and we've got another one here. What's your favorite place to ski? Any favorites in Europe?
you know, I skied once in England. Actually, I did ski once when in my 20s on an artificial brush slope that was about 50 feet long. But I've never skied in Europe. No, skied in New Zealand and down California, but Canada, but no, not in Europe. But my favorite place in Washington is probably the Umatilla Forest in the southeast corner of the state. It rises up to 5.5, 6,000 feet, and nobody goes there apart from the locals. There's quite a bit of a snowmobiling community there, but it's just great rolling hills, and there's like 4 cabins, guard stations that you can stay out there actually very rarely used. I mean, I made a booking for this year in February, and there was one other booking in February. So people don't know about it.
Well,
Or
we'll get the word out right here. You just you just ruined your
let the cat
favorite
out of the bag.
spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Umatilla Forest.
Umatilla Forest by Dayton or Pomeroy. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's where you invited me to go last winter, and I
It's
wasn't
called
able to make it.
It's called the Blue Woods too, and there's a resort, Bluewood Resort there, which is really one of my favorite ski resorts to go to. Little plug for Bluewood too. They're really nice, family-oriented resort, and just $60 a day, I think.
I haven't made it there yet. I've heard about it a lot. Do you know how
Great,
many acres it has? Or
great. I don't
skid
know, but
acres?
it's great tree skiing. It's only got one chairlift, but there's not many people go there, so it's not like it's a slow chairlift, but uh, great tree skiing. And the snow's always been really good when I've gone there because it's the east side um, of the mountains, so it's much drier.
All right. Thanks a lot. Last call for viewer questions. And if any pop up, maybe I'll throw one on you. But let's go to my last question I have written for you here. What's in your backcountry ski pack on a typical tour? And do
Well,
you have any must-have gear recommendations?
well, I have the 10 essentials, obviously, and uh, my pack for my day trips. I normally take a sled if I can into my hut trips, but on day trips, I've got a Osprey backpack, which has this vented back, and I just love that because I take it. You know how you get that clammy, sweaty back when especially when you're climbing up the steep climb skiing, and you get all hot, and you take your backpack off, and it's just hot and sweaty. Well, this vented backpack is just, I love it. It's just, it still gets a little clammy, but nothing like a regular backpack. So I would recommend a pack like that that's vented. And I have a very thin insulation pad inside my pack. It kind of helps keep things a little drier for one thing, but it's just a safety feature if I got stuck in the woods and I needed this, and I didn't have a sleeping bag. That insulation would probably save my life. If it was a really cold night and I'm sleeping out in the woods.
Is that essentially something to keep you between the snow, or do you kind of put it over yourself?
Well, it's a liner inside my pack, so keep my pack kind of drier. But I would crawl. I would put my feet into that, into my pack and that insulation, or I would pull it out and lay on it. Yeah.
I'm going to put you on the spot here too. Do you happen to know the specific pack that you like from Osprey?
No, I forget, but I forget what it is, the name of it, but it's just got this vented back that's really nice. So anyway, one other thing, I would, I have. You always want to minimize how much gear you're taking, extra gear, and I have a compass that has a built-in inclinometer. So I don't have to have a compass and an inclinometer for looking at the angle. An inclinometer is looking for the angle of the slope to see if it's going to slide, if there's potential for sliding. And so having a compass and inclinometer in one is really nice. And another thing I have that I really like is I have a shovel that has a saw in the handle. So you can just switch the shovel blade to the saw blade. And if I'm digging a snow pit and I want to dig the back of the snow pit down to see for stability, I've got a 2-in-1 tool for that too. So I love that.
Now I've seen Black Diamond is really good at making that kind of gear.
Yeah, I think I was trying to look at my my shovel last night, but the label's kind of worn off, so I don't know who makes that.
That's a good sign. How much you've used it, the label's worn off. And
yeah,
you mentioned the 10 essentials. I know like 3 essentials, but do you is that something that most people know that I should know? Can you list off some of the 10 essentials?
Well, yeah, 10 essentials is, compass, a place to extra clothes, food, lights, a light, flashlight. What else? I mean, the Mountaineers folk, they always talk about the 10 essentials for a trip. Yeah, and protection from the elements. Would be like either a sleeping bag or a survival bag, and sunscreen. Yeah, it's just
Here, I'm going to do you a favor right now. Watch this. Watch what I did while you were talking.
10 essentials.
Let's see. Navigation, headlamp, sun protection, first aid, knife, fire, shelter, extra food, extra water, extra clothes.
Yeah,
Does that sound?
Yeah. First aid kit. I always have a first aid kit. At least one first aid kit between the group. When we're going to do our hut trips, we don't need. If there's 5 of us, we don't need 5 first aid kits. But
all right. Yeah, I think those are. Thanks for those answers. I didn't know there was a 10 essentials list, and I've taken some classes and got a couple certifications.
Oh, okay. I thought that was standard knowledge.
No, not from me. It isn't.
Okay, all right. I you, but
no, I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for doing all this. I guess I just wanted to talk to you because I know you're an avid outdoors person, and I think what you do with the volunteering is awesome. Is there anything more you'd like to say about, the Mountaineers Club or the huts or any recommendations for that kind of thing?
Well, there's lots of guard stations that you can ski into in Washington State. They're very inexpensive and beautiful terrain and no people. So get out there and enjoy them.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Jim. I'm going to end this. If you'll hang on for a second, I'll give you some follow-up information.
Okay. All right.
Thanks again.
Thank you. Nice. It's a pleasure.